Hey, I just got off a very long drive, an almost 12-hour drive up to visit my mother. And I had a lot of alone time, some time to listen to audiobooks, podcasts, and it was really enlightening. If you ever have the opportunity to do that and just get away, I highly recommend it. You know, just to separate yourself from the daily grind, have some new thoughts put into your head. And one of the new thoughts that I kind of took out of this whole experience was being fancy. Being fancy. I'm gonna give it up because it's expensive. And I'm not talking about being fancy around material things. Like I don't need the best car. I don't need the best house in the best neighborhood. I don't need fancy clothes. I don't need all that. I'm not talking about material things. What I'm talking about is your mindset being fancy. And my mindset has been fancy, and disgustingly so. And I look back, it's cost me a lot. You know, when I first heard the idea around Bitcoin, I thought that was a total scam. And I rejected that. And maybe it is a scam, I guess it remains to be seen. But looking back, if I would have got in when I was first told about it, I'd be a millionaire many times over just from that investment alone. And I think about the first time when someone said, oh, you got to watch the TV show Breaking Bad. It's the greatest show, you're going to love it. And I rejected that for 3 or 4 seasons. I think I was the last person on earth to actually sit down and watch it. I'm in the know now with regard to that show. And then I think about when back in 2008 when I was first told about podcasting, and I was like, that sounds dumb. I got other things to do. You know, I got to go buy and sell houses. If it wasn't for one freak incident where I was listening to an audiobook by Tim Ferriss, and I remember it was the last one that he had available, so I went on a search for new material by Tim Ferriss, see if there's anything else out there. I searched iTunes, and what came up was this little audio recording, and it was free. So I downloaded that and listened to it, and it was a great interview. I can't even remember what interview it was or who it was with. But wow, I'm listening to a podcast. This is what a podcast is. These are great. And if I didn't have that freak interaction where I accidentally discovered what a podcast was, if that didn't happen, that one little epiphany right there, by taking that and putting it with my real estate investing business, I can't even imagine where I would be today if I had never discovered that. The whole point being, I'm gonna give up being fancy. You know, with the amount of new information that's coming out on a daily basis and the multiple mediums that information is being delivered, you just can't afford to reject anything these days because you just never know what's gonna happen. I mean, the world is changing so fast, and if you don't change with it, you're gonna be left behind. This is not the time to be fancy, not in the world that we're living in right now. It's expensive, it's costly, so I'm giving it up.